let's start the show.
It's January 23rd, 2014. Welcome to This Is Only a Test, the official podcast of Tested.com. I'm Will Smith, seated directly to my left, adjusting his headphones. I'm not sure if this is for comedy or because he has them on backwards. Norman Chan, what the hell's going on over there?
I did not have them on backwards. I don't like headphones.
Okay.
I don't
Are
like
mine on
that-
backwards?
No, yours are.
I'm
No
good.
one
I'm
has them on-
fine.
I think we can all put on headphones.
Okay.
Dave Snider,
I'm here.
joining us.
I've been here before.
You've been here for Dad Podcast and for Oktobercast.
yeah.
And I think one time when the website went down for like 2 weeks in the old days, you came on to talk about that too. But that might have been just Andy.
Oh, man. I don't know.
That was a bad
Sure.
time. Remember that? Remember what we did? We did two real dumb things with you at Whiskey. Well, we did a lot more than two. But we did the...
Here's the bad part in my head is I am thinking which time when the website went down.
No, I'm thinking about the time
extended
Amazon went
Amazon.
down.
Oh, yeah. That
The dark
oof.
time,
We don't talk about that
Yeah.
anymore.
except just now.
Yeah, but I think Andy came on to talk about why that was broken, and it was really, really kind of long and boring.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came on and were like, "Yeah, Amazon it's broke."
Yeah.
It's cheaper now.
Amazon?
S3.
Oh, really?
Lower the prices.
Yeah, this past week. Too bad.
Topical.
We were trying to think of using them, did not.
What you doing these days, Dave?
I'm over here. I'm chilling out with you guys.
Hanging out all day.
I go fishing. No.
Wow.
Really?
I'm,
Do you have like one of those pocket fishermen,
yeah,
the Ronco one
I
that
just-
unfolds with the plastic? And
I
you just
fly fish in your
Set it
in your
and forget it.
boardroom.
Okay.
Just over there. No, we're just building another CMS system. Usual thing I do.
So you took a break for a while,
Took a break.
became a dad.
I became a dad. I took care of my kid for a while, and then I got bored. And I was like, why don't I move as far away from the city as possible?
you
so
did that
I
after
can
you had the
come
kid,
back.
or
Yes.
just before?
Just before.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll never be back in this city.
Yeah.
Why would I come back
You're
here?
here 3 days a week now.
I'm here 3 days a week.
It's nice to see you.
It is. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's good. It's weirdly surreal. I come in. I came in in the car with Jeff in a carpool, and then here you
Jeff
guys
Gersman
are.
of GiantBomb.com.
Yes, that Jeff.
Okay.
And it's super surreal.
So this
It's
is what your
3
like
years
sixth
ago.
podcast of the day, because doesn't he do like 17 podcasts on the
He
way in every
does.
morning?
Yeah, he's weird, man.
He records that Giant Bomb radio minute from the car.
Yeah, as soon as I was like walking to his car, he was like, "Just fair warning, we're live inside."
Wow. Does Jeff do more podcasts than Kevin Smith?
Oh, Kevin Smith does. I don't think Kevin Smith is on all those podcasts anymore. I think he's just occasionally pops up. It's like a podcast universe featuring Kevin Smith and his
I
pals.
think he's on a lot of them.
He is.
I know he does the Smodcast and the
He's
Jay and
got,
Silent
like,
Bob
TV
podcast.
shows too.
Yeah,
and
TV show
all over.
podcasts. He does the Hollywood Babylon.
Dude knows how to shill.
My favorite thing that he did that I don't think he does anymore, but for a while he would do a thing on when he had that little podcast studio in like West Hollywood. He would do a Saturday morning show where he would come in pajamas and eat cereal. He'd have like Lucky Charms for everybody for like 25 people, and then you just sit around and watch old Saturday morning cartoons in your bathrobe with Kevin Smith.
That's not
Which,
too bad.
like, that sounds like a pretty good piece of, like, I'm like, that's an okay piece of content. That's good.
Lucky
Really?
Charms was really gross, though. I can't get behind the Lucky Charms.
I think maybe they had Captain Crunch too, which
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best.
too soggy.
Yeah,
So
see?
good. So
There we
good.
go.
You've got
So good.
45 seconds to eat a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch before it's completely a soggy shitball
You just
mess.
described cereal. Like, that is every bowl of cereal that I've ever
No,
seen
no,
in
no,
my
no.
life. What do you got? The magic
Smart
you got the Willy
Start.
Wonka, like, Forever God
Smart
Stopper?
Start. That stuff is covered in like a waxy lacquer, and it can sit in the milk for an hour.
Smart Start. What is it? Is that healthy?
It's like no, it's cereal. It's masquerading as healthy, but it's really super unhealthy because it's just sugar and carbohydrates.
Okay.
All cereal, grains and sugar,
Frosted Mini Wheats, man, that's the way to go.
puffed grains,
Puffed stuff is good.
Frosted Mini
Kix.
Wheats, medium size.
Medium size.
Well, original Frosted Mini Wheats.
You mean
pre-mini
pre-mini Holocaust
podcast topics, discussion
I know, we've
topics
talked
from
about this a lot.
years ago.
You know what happened to the mini wheats, right, Dave?
What?
So remember in the old days when you went to the grocery store and you'd say, "Oh, I want some frosted mini wheats," and there was only one box. It was red.
No, I don't remember that because I never wanted frosted mini wheats. They're gross.
Your mom must have bought you good cereal instead of this. Like that was the unhealthy cereal option we had in my house. She was like, "Oh, do you want some frosted mini wheats? We'll go crazy."
It's rough.
They don't have the original size frosted mini wheats anymore. Now it's all just bite size, and it's like these little shitty pillows with too much sugar and not enough.
It's the reverse Starbucks effect.
It's terrible. So you're here on the podcast this week. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Well, I walked over from
Yeah,
the other side of the. It was great.
We just stopped and got a Coke.
Yeah.
Looked at the MakerBot, saw what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to just jump right into the news? You want to get into it? There's not anything happening this week. It's
Plenty
super.
of stuff. There's a long list of stuff. I'd love to know what Dave thinks about every single one of these topics.
Yes.
And I'm excited for King.com coming up.
To know what the topics are.
You're foreshadowing the podcast now, Norm.
Yep.
Okay. So I think the more interesting stories. I didn't put these in order. I usually put the most interesting stuff at the top. So we're just all over the place today. Netflix is basically promising war if ISPs violate the tenets of net neutrality. So a couple weeks ago, the FCC, Verizon challenged the FCC on the net neutrality thing, and the FCC lost. So there's no net neutrality. It's they can do whatever they want right now. And Netflix came out today and said, look, if you fuck us on this, we're going to let our user, if you're an ISP and you think, hey, we can charge Netflix more to deliver good Netflix streams to our users, we're going to let the users know, we're going to let it be shitty, and we're going to let the users know that you're the bastard that's in charge of this. And we're going to use our enormous user base and their power to give them your home address and basically let loose the hounds of war on your shitty little ISP.
I wonder
million
if
users.
Work. You think it would work though?
I think that. Let me ask you.
Netflix has a lot of goodwill.
If you had,
I know that.
When you think of Netflix, do you like Netflix or do you dislike Netflix as a company?
I like Netflix so much. I'm a Netflix stock owner.
So when you think of
that's a good buy.
Yeah.
When you think of Comcast, do you like or dislike Comcast?
I do not have cable in my home.
Right. When you think of AT&T, do you like or dislike AT&T?
I have a grandfathered clause that costs me way too much money.
You have unlimited data on AT&T still.
But I've never had any problems. But I look at my bill and I'm like, what do I need to pay all this money for? Well,
also, do you think AT&T is looking out for your interest, or do you think they're trying to fuck you at every opportunity?
I don't know. I don't even talk to Mr. AT&T.
Okay.
He never, he wears a hat. He's got a suit. I never get to talk to that guy.
You don't dial 611? You can dial 611 at any time.
I don't, what?
I like your role as everyman on this podcast.
Are you telling me that there's some star number combination that I could get?
611,
and it gives me horoscopes and Mr. AT&T
well,
talks
probably,
to me.
but they'll be like, hey, we're AT&T, we'd like to help you, and then they charge you more money.
I think of Mr. AT&T when I think of him in my head. I think of the Planters Peanut Man, but evil.
Is he still a peanut, or is he just shaped like a phone?
So anyone allergic to peanuts? No, pistachios are great.
No, isn't the Gangnam Style guy the pistachio guy now?
What?
He did the pistachio
that's
song.
Right. Who's that guy? Do you remember him?
Psy, yeah. I think that, and I have no data to back this up, but I have a lot of anecdotes over the years that indicate that people think Netflix is looking out for them and is a good deal, and that the telecoms are not looking out for them and are bad companies.
You know who Netflix is looking out for?
Netflix.
Well,
and
Netflix
shareholders like Dave Snider.
Like Dave Snider right here. We do not give financial advice here on this podcast.
Certainly not for me.
Say Kai Rizdal Chan.
And now it's time to do the numbers.
So do numbers. Let's say PM. Oh my God, I could do this all day long. I'm not going to do this.
This is going to go badly. So yeah, I think that if Netflix and the telecoms fight, Netflix will win the hearts and minds of consumers because Netflix fights for the users.
They would, but to do it to a degree that it would matter drastically, they would have to put. I would almost say, if you want to you talk war, you'd want to put an overlay when it starts dropping to shitty levels. That's I'm sorry, your ISP is forcing this.
Yeah, your ISP
they would have to do it while I was watching a video.
Oh, absolutely. But think about how many so I'm on Comcast, which is shared in my neighborhood, and it has gotten the Netflix situation on my ISP has gotten to the point. And this is kind of an argument. This is Comcast's argument. It's gotten to the point that on evenings at like 7 o'clock, I notice a bandwidth sag in my neighborhood, right? Like my Steam stuff downloads slower. It takes a little bit longer to load everything. And I can only assume it's because people are coming home and watching Netflix and YouTube and, Crackle.
I mean, you're living the AT&T commercial, the old DSL commercials for cable.
Except for the difference is that I'm still getting faster than the fastest DSL can offer, even in this shitty reduced capacity that Comcast is giving me.
So we just all want fiber.
Peak hours. Yeah, I would like fiber. There's fiber to a box 45 feet from my house, but they won't go the last 45 feet.
I have DSL just because I don't want the TV.
Well,
it's too hard to get the other one.
You guys have a good DSL provider there too.
It's all right.
Is it
I just use Sonic.
Yeah, those guys fight for those guys actually fight for the users. Netflix wants you to think that they fight for the users. The Sonic guys are good.
So it works well enough.
When I bitched about Comcast once on Twitter, the Sonic CEO reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we have DSL in Pacifica," and I said, "Yeah, what's your upstream?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's probably not. If you're asking about upstream, probably we're in the wrong market." It's like, "When are you going to do fiber down here? You have fiber in Sebastopol." He's like, "We'll let you know when we're going to do fiber in Pacifica." Anyway. So that's Netflix. They also did their annual call later this afternoon. Is that what the next thing is about, Norm?
They have the call already.
Yeah.
The 44 million users. They are going to start tier pricing their plans.
So what do you get if you tiered?
More simultaneous streams.
Oh, so
and
if you
also
have
difference between HD and SD, potentially.
So like if you want 4K, you'll have to pony up for the higher resolution, higher quality. That's only fair.
Yep,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Or if you want to have Netflix playing on more than 3 TVs in your house at the same time.
Oh my God!
Or if you're sharing with your family.
How many children do you have?
Yeah, you shouldn't have more than 3 TVs in your house.
A lot of people share Netflix accounts, and I think they want to stop that.
Well, I think that's fair. I'm okay with that. $7. It's $7 a month.
Yeah, it's great.
Come on,
it's generous grandfathering. Is what they're also promising. So for whatever your existing plan is. So if you're a subscriber now, you'll be okay.
Because in the old days, you used to do you could do as many streams as you had discs on the plan, I think, right? So if you had 2 discs, you could do 2 streams. If you had 3 discs, you could do 3 streams. That all changed with the $7 a month thing, and it went to just 3 streams flat, pretty much for everybody. It seemed like. I think that's good. Tarantino, the next Tarantino movie called The Hateful Eight. The script leaked earlier this week. Did you see this? This is wonderful.
I did.
So he Deadline reported that the script had leaked. You can go search for it on the internet. And then yesterday there was a follow-up with the guy who originally reported on the leaked script, where basically Tarantino said, "Look, I'm not going to make the fucking movie now. I gave the script to 6 people."
He's not going to make the movie?
He's not going to make the movie now.
He threw a hissy.
He threw a hissy.
Wow.
And he's like, I gave the script to 6 people, 3 actors and 3 other people. I'm pretty sure Tim Roth didn't fuck me on this, but everybody else is suspect.
So basically Reservoir Dogs, but script leaking.
Pretty much.
Where I read it, it said like 3 people I'd worked with before, actors I'd worked with before, and then I assumed the other 3 were other actors that he hadn't worked with before, and was basically throwing them under the bus.
So he named names. He named names in the article.
I want to hear the names.
He's like, I gave the script to 3 actors: Michael Madsen, Bruce Dern, and Tim Roth. I know Tim Roth didn't do this. One of the others let his agent read it, and that agent has now passed it on to everyone in Hollywood. One of them let their agent read it in his house, and he did not pass it out. So it seems like he kind of knows who did it, maybe. I don't know. He said that he suspects it comes from one of the large agencies who reps Bruce Dern, and he's basically like, look, this will probably blow over eventually, and I'll probably make the movie, but I'm going to do something else first. Fuck these guys. Fuck everybody. Burn the house down. Let it all burn. But his scripts always end up on the internet.
Yeah.
Because they're good. They're interesting to read. So no Hateful Eight in the not-too-distant future.
What was it about?
It was a Western.
It's a Western. I assume it's a Magnificent Seven style.
I wanted to see a Western.
I'd love to see a big ensemble. No, he made a solo Western. There's 2 kinds of Westerns: ensemble Westerns and solo Westerns. So Magnificent Seven is an ensemble.
I want lots of whistling in whatever his Western is.
Like Enrico.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah.
No, the
Spaghetti Westerns.
Either that or a clock. The stopwatch. That one, not a stopwatch.
I'm more of an old Western guy. I like the early John Wayne Westerns all the way through, like Liberty Valance and that business. Once it gets too bloody, I'm out. Call me old-fashioned. There's a supernova
What's a supernova, Will Smith? Tell me about it. All I do is code all day.
A supernova is when a star reaches the end of its life.
Okay.
Or in this case, some other stuff happened, but reaches the end of its life and it becomes too massive to sustain the hydrogen fusion reaction in its heart. And so then all the mass collapses and it explodes in an incredible shockwave, incredibly destructive, destroys major portions of a galaxy.
It's a heart
and
attack.
gets super duper bright.
Sounds like
For a
my,
short
Star
period of
gets a
time.
heart attack.
sounds like my child at night.
Wow, is your kid not sleeping good?
It's just, it's kids.
Give her a little tipple
Yeah,
there. And
sure. Oh,
she
yeah.
goes right out.
Great.
Where is the supernova?
It is in Galaxy M82, which is in
Down
Ursa
the-
Major.
Yeah, 2 blocks down the street.
It sounds like a
There's
new
a good
synth
burrito
band.
joint there.
It's 12 million light years away, so we're okay. Like if it was 12 light years away, pretty much everybody on the supernova facing side wiped out all over.
Some new wave shit.
That's the end of Earth, right? That's it. Nuclear war doesn't matter anymore. Terrorism doesn't matter anymore. Quake 5 is never going to come out because it will be the end of everything.
Well,
Probably not going to come out anyway.
yeah.
Peak brightness will be in 2 weeks. Right now, if you live someplace that has no light pollution to the north, you can see it with a 4-inch telescope or a really good pair of binoculars. In a couple of weeks, it'll reach peak magnitude, and you'll be able to see it with just binoculars.
What's a 4-inch telescope?
A telescope with a 4-inch lens.
Did I
4-inch
tell you
wide.
about my telescope
Did
travels?
you buy a telescope?
Yeah, you guys ever heard this?
No.
No.
Yeah, I got bored last year, and I was like, you know what I really want to do? I've got a backyard now.
You don't have. There's no. It's bright as hell up there.
I really want a telescope.
So how did you go about researching buying a telescope?
You went to Sharper Image and
No.
just bought the first one they said was good.
No, what I thought was, man, I bet a lot of people have telescopes, and nobody ever uses them.
like a bicycle?
I bet if I go on Craigslist, I can get a nice telescope for really cheap.
Yeah.
That's how you got your kayak too.
It is. And I use the kayak a lot.
Yeah.
The telescope, I was able to get like $1,000 telescope for $250.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
So it's a Meade. It looks like a fancy telescope. It's not like the telescope that I had to watch Halley's Comet back in 1987.
It's like the one you had to put on a picnic table and then lay on the ground and get underneath it.
There's no, yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Then, so I
Or
started.
did you have like a pirate telescope? Like,
Yeah, sure.
I
yeah.
matey.
Had a little tripod.
Okay.
So I started using the thing, and it came with a bunch of lenses. And of course, it was exactly what I thought it was. I bought it from some guy in Santa Rosa who had bought it and was like, I just didn't.
I'm gonna
use
be
it."
an amateur astronomer.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
And then you get it, and they're interesting the way they do all the auto tracking and stuff.
So you don't have to aim. Like you just put it in the yard and you say this direction's north.
You can beep in like some coordinate stuff.
Doesn't it have an app.
It was kind of a little older.
Oh.
I don't know.
So
5 or 6
Were there
years old.
adapters to put like your phone into it, take pictures, or a camera?
No, the camera stuff. You can get the adapters and then you just plug the.
you can 3D print
Yeah.
those.
Well, I'm not that far. What I did was set it up, and of course, what I could do without learning any knowledge at all was like, look at that big ass moon. So I just pointed it at the moon.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun and looked at the
That's
moon.
fun.
Yeah, but it gets old.
The moon's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome, and it's pretty scary. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that thing's wrecked.
Yeah.
That is wrecked. We could be like that.
Thank
at any
goodness for
moment.
the atmosphere.
There could be a supernova that comes by.
So what's the magnification on the telescope?
I have
you
no
got?
idea.
But how
It's a
big,
million times.
How big does the moon look?
How
How big do the craters
It
of the moon
fills
look?
it fills the screen. It depends upon the lens that I put into it, which makes it a lot harder. The hardest part with it is focusing.
Yeah.
Because when you can be pointed directly at the moon and not actually see it at all because the focus is so far off.
Dibs on when you get bored of it, and I will buy it from you for $125.
$125?
At least 50.
I'll give you 130.
Okay, $130.
Yeah.
So we're selling my.
Yeah.
I'll bring it if you want to borrow it.
I think-
I will bring it in.
I think we should come up to your house and have a supernova viewing event. We'll bring cameras and record it, the whole thing.
I was gonna say
like a little
telescope
dot.
party, but that sounded really bad.
Did you
so-
see anything but the moon? Did you like look at Mars or Venus or Saturn?
I didn't really. I mean,
Uranus.
it didn't even come with a manual, so I was hunting down like
not on
old
the-
PDFs.
Okay.
and, Basically, I bring it out every once in a while and look at the moon, and I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
Solar system. I think the bigger crazy.
Yeah, that's our moon. Yeah, look at that face.
The crazier thing for me was basically just setting it up. I had totally forgot the basics of how the Earth works, and it was like, oh shit, I gotta like move my telescope, all that off because the Earth is spinning.
We're moving.
Yeah.
In relation to everything around us, we move.
So it was great. It was definitely like I've become a dad. I'm going to go buy this thing. But yeah, I barely use it now.
That's pretty normal for telescopes.
Every minute.
Wait for that next garage clean out, Norm. Beats Music launched Tuesday. I think Ethan worked on this, didn't he?
He did. Ethan
.com.
and another engineer there used to work with. In fact, Mike Corn worked on it for half of a minute doing some stuff.
That doesn't sound like you get a whole lot done in half of a minute.
It was fun. I was talking to those guys and they were like, how's the, they're like, I'm like, how's the launch going? And he's like, it's, pretty much like all the other launches we've done where I've been at work for 17, 18 days. The only difference is now instead of some angry user submitting a bug, it's Dr. Dre. Which I just kind of thought was awesome.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
So what is Beats Music?
It's basically like a Spotify competitor. It's a streaming service for music. They focus a little bit more, I believe, on the social aspects and the curation of playlists.
It seems a lot like the stuff that I like about RDO in a pretty slick. It seems pretty slick. I haven't spent a lot of time with it yet.
Is there a
it doesn't have
desktop
it has a web app, but it was really hard to find. And about the time I found it was when I lost interest in looking at it anymore because I had other shit to do. But it has Android and iOS apps. Seems like it's something for your phone more than anything. I mean, I think somebody did market research. It's like people listen to music on their phones. Then here we are.
Yeah.
How much is it per month?
I have no idea.
$15, I think.
Wow, that's a lot.
I think that might just be for that family plan that AT&T has where you pay $15 and 5 people in your family can.
That's exclusive for AT&T users right now. I think RDO is like $7 a month or something like that.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, so I would assume that this would like
Spotify's
a single.
$10 a month.
Really?
Yes, for mobile play.
Oh, you can also get this for the Windows Store, so you got that going for you.
All right, Beats Music.
Beats Music. It understands you.
Colin Kaepernick loves it.
This has nothing to do with Monster, right? It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Monster and Beats split apart.
Yeah, Beats is Dre's thing, and Monster is.
And I think Trent Reznor's on this one too.
Okay.
So they've got a full lineup. You can see all the celebrities tweeting their Beats Music stuff right now. It's kind of fun to see the modern celebrity launch, I feel.
What was the last big celebrity launch that you're thinking of? Clearly, you have something in mind.
Tested.com.
No, we had no celebrities.
Oh.
Oh well, I mean the second
Yes.
time. But the first launch, it was just Norm and me.
I'm just saying,
And
the
testicles.
now having a big celebrity behind your launch is a big thing. MySpace.
Oh,
Justin
yeah.
Timberlake.
Yeah, Sean Parker too, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Well, he played Sean Parker, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, of course they became buddies.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Can't wait till Joaquin Phoenix launches his Johnny Cash station.
Oh,
It'll be a T-shirt.
Carrie Fisher.
That'll be an app.
What is the app's a T-shirt?
Yeah, it's a T-shirt that you wear. It makes you talk like Johnny Cash.
That would be amazing.
Would be.
Be really good. Was it you that told me that Dewey Cox was a real person?
Somebody around us told us that because I remember at the same. Yes,
Joey told us that.
Joey told us.
I couldn't believe that.
Dewey Cox was not just a parody.
I thought that was just a parody, but Dewey Cox was a real person. He was the Roodles to Johnny Cash.
Norm already doesn't believe it.
He was the
I'm
monkey.
already
now.
Googling right
He's
now
like,
because
what? This doesn't make
If
any
this is
sense.
wrong, it's all Joey.
Yeah.
If it's right, Dave and me.
He didn't fact check my Earth is spinning.
Pretty sure that's right.
But
I over the holidays I ended up explaining like orbital dynamics and how seasons work to a bunch of 8-year-olds at a party. That didn't go well. It's really hard to do if you had a couple of cocktails and you don't have some balls to, because you end up doing a lot of these wrist movements with like the.
You didn't go to Ben Franklin's, pick up a bunch of styrofoam balls and like spray paint them the different colors.
I don't think they had styrofoam when Ben Franklin did that
What?
stuff. No.
When the craft Ben Franklin?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Dewey Cox totally not a real person.
God damn it, Joey.
It might be inspired by a real person. Still trying to figure that out. But Dewey Cox is that name fictitious.
We were hoodwinked. We were bamboozled.
From Ellie. Carrie Fisher confirmed that she, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford will return to the next Star Wars trilogy.
Hooray!
No mention so far of Chewbacca or Lando Calrissian.
Let's hear your best Chewbacca right now.
I can't. I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
What? Why?
I'm not very good at it.
Norm, you gotta have one.
No.
That's
pretty.
There we go. This is better.
Nope.
It's a better Chewbacca over there.
You gotta really lean into
They're
it.
both pretty bad.
There was a brief Xbox One machinima shilling controversy where people were accusing Microsoft of paying YouTube personalities to say nice things about the Xbox One and show footage of Xbox games played on the Xbox One without saying anything negative about the Xbox One.
How does this work? I'm a YouTuber.
Are you interested? Norm's available, guys.
Let me know what the terms of the deal were.
My understanding is that the terms of the deal were that they played games on the Xbox One.
As many people on YouTube do.
It was there was basically I think it worked on an hourly basis, and they had to mention that the footage was being shown on the Xbox One, and they couldn't say anything negative about the Xbox One. So our video about the Xbox One didn't qualify for this kind of sponsorship. It later came to light that EA is doing the same thing, and then somebody shared the contract or something with Machinima, and the terms were all super disclosed, although not in the actual.
How much were these people being paid?
It did not say that.
Nothing.
Wasn't it like $2 per 1,000 views or something?
Yeah, it was like an extra couple of bucks per 1,000 views was what my understanding was, but I don't know if that was. Yeah. So
Per thousand's nice.
Per
If it's
1,000
going to the
views.
person.
I think it's probably split between Machinima and the person. If I had to
and
guess.
get 3 cents.
Yeah. So YouTube. NPD report showed that Netflix gained subscribers while HBO and Showtime lose subscribers, and then NPD pulled the report after a couple of days. I don't know what that means at all, but I thought that was kind of weird. Hey guys, Netflix is growing and HBO and Showtime are shrinking, and then the report gets pulled from NPD. Did they say anything about that in the Netflix call?
No.
Max Temkin sent me a link to something really horrible called Sex with Glass. The idea is that you and a loved one both don a pair of Google glasses. You hook them up to your phones.
Is this a app or a website?
This is a website that purports to have an app that they're waiting to develop until they get their Google glasses, but the app is already available. And then you can share your perspective with your loved one during the intimate act of lovemaking.
That is
So it's like-
so gross.
What is that? I don't get it.
Okay, so I'm wearing glasses and my partner is wearing glasses, and I see what she sees while she sees what I see.
So like a mirror.
And then you can also hang a phone up somewhere and get that one too if you want to see more. I think it's worse than a mirror. Because a mirror, like, you just know that's going to be there. This could change perspective. You could get real.
This is gross. It's gross.
Is it real?
I couldn't tell. It looked like it might be a joke.
I think it's probably not real.
I don't think there was stuff on the App Store.
It is
Was
grosser.
it a promotion for porn?
I don't think so.
It is grosser than what I thought it was when I originally looked at it. My first thought was sex with glass. I was like, Ira Glass is having sex. This is gross.
So this came out of a hackathon, according to The Verge. The URL is glassandsex.com, which seems like a really, may have been an expensive URL even. And they're saying that there's an iPhone app coming soon that will give you that experience if you want to give them your email address.
Great.
I didn't give them
I
my
would
email
recommend
address.
not giving
Yeah,
them
that's
your email
my
address.
advice. King.com,
Oh, here it goes. The only part I'm excited for.
the makers of the Candy Crush saga. It's good that you bring a high level of enthusiasm to the podcast, Arm. Saga. Try to trademark the words candy. Also, they've already trademarked the word saga.
Saga.
Now,
Sega?
Saga.
so that means games like Candy Box Isn't Candy Crush the thing that just rips off Bejeweled?
I've never played Candy Crush before.
Have you played Candy Crush, Dave?
I'm playing.
What's that new hot iOS game? Isn't like some
Candy Crush Saga?
no like some defending game, like fortress building game with Vikings or
What the hell are you talking
I
about?
thought you were making a
soldiers?
sarcastic joke saying
No,
that is every game on your phone.
Oh, you're talking about Kingdom Rush.
Kingdom Rush?
That is a formerly hot new iOS game. Brad really liked it. It's a tower defense game.
Okay,
Is that what you're thinking about?
maybe. All I know is that there's a lack of originality in iOS games, and anytime games gets to the top of the charts, whether it's free, paid, or revenue based,
Oh yeah,
you can find 24 clones.
yeah. I'm sure that
weeks.
there's a game called Candy Tower Saga and Candy Box Saga and Candy
So
Torpedo Saga.
how did King.com get the rights to the word saga?
They filed a trademark request with the trademark office. So trademarks are weird. I didn't realize a lot of this stuff as I was reading these stories this week.
I just got one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you have a product.
Well, we have a name, so we had to go get a name. We did for
Yeah.
webhook, so I had to go get that. And it actually so I sent it in, and then it got accepted, and then they send me something back that's like, whoa.
Well, so there's a process. You send the paperwork in, and then they say we're going to publish this trademark, and people can object to it for
Yeah.
X number of days. And if somebody objects to it, then and I assume if you're a big company, you hire people that just sit there and watch these lists of names coming out of the trademark office, so you can object.
That is probably what happened to me.
Oh, really?
So now you get 6 months to basically deal
Like,
with it.
make a product,
after the
basically,
fact.
right? Or
No, to dispute it in whatever way that you need to.
But the thing about trademarks as opposed to copyrights, like copyrights, say Oreo is a copyright, right? It's also a trademark. I guess the Oreo logo is a copyrighted thing. The Oreo name is a trademark thing. I can't use the Oreo logo for anything without Nabisco's permission, but I can use Oreo.
The
Maybe
trademark.
Oreo is a bad word, but as long as I'm using Oreo in a context that wouldn't be confusing with the original product, Oreo is fair game.
So if you just said
Oreo's
Oreo,
a bad example.
like the advertisement Oreo, as a
I don't know about that because that ad's copyrighted. So Oreo's a bad example.
can't
Man,
dispense-
I'm confused.
We don't dispense legal advice
Yeah,
here
no,
on
no.
Tested.com.
Okay, so you can trademark. What's happened is they can trademark a word in the context of games that involve candy and the mechanisms that they have in the game, and the art style of the icons, so as to reduce confusion. That's what they're trying to do. So they're saying, look, there's dozens of these knockoff games, like Norm mentioned, on the App Store where the icons are intentionally designed to look exactly like the Candy Crush icon, and they're trying to trick people using SEO stuff and similar design into buying the wrong app instead of Candy Crush Saga, which is the market leader in candy-based Bejeweled ripoffs.
So itself a ripoff is worried about.
I
other
think the
ripoffs.
trademark office doesn't care about that. But
Right.
yeah. So they trademark individual words, and then they've gone in the past after other games that use words. So Saga is a game that they have trademarked. And for example, that Banner Saga game came out last week or the week before and has been in development for a while. It was a Kickstarter game. They actually sent a thing to them and said, hey, you can't use the word Saga in your game. And then they said, well, it's a completely different game. There's obviously no crossover. It doesn't look the same. Probably not even coming out of the same platforms. Pound sand. And it seems to have worked itself out. But you can trademark words like candy is the takeaway.
What word do you want?
Sex.
You,
I'd have to make a product, though.
Well,
So maybe not.
I was thinking
Tested. Tested's a word.
tested. You got.
Yeah, I don't think we ever actually trademarked that, though.
I think you probably do.
Did we? Did we trademark it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I mean, we did have lawyers at the time.
they button up that stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Sure.
Yeah,
Those
somebody over
guys.
in our legal department.
Those
All you gotta do
guys.
is add that little TM. right?
Yeah, no, you have to file paperwork and stuff. And you have to trademarks. You also have to defend. So if you don't defend trademarks, then that's what happened to Kleenex and the ones that got genericized. So anyway, games like Candy Box that predated Candy Crush Saga and all those things are probably okay. It also has to do with the date that the product was created. So if you predate that, you're totally fine. It's really boring stuff. Trademarks. They discovered a new pharaoh's tomb in Egypt this week.
Okay.
Sobek Hotep the First. is the name of the
Pretty
pharaoh.
good pronunciation.
I practiced.
Do they got to rewrite all the books now? Like all those picture books that you get in 3rd grade?
Well, no, he's from a different group. So there's like different forks. His reign was in the 1600s BC, thereabouts, 1500, 1600, somewhere in there. And he was from like the poor cousin pharaohs that were like one valley over or something. And they didn't have, their tombs were not as rich as the pharaohs that we know of.
Are there
previously.
pictures or descriptions of the lavishness of his tomb?
There is a picture of his bones on a slab with a bunch of Egyptologists digging around in them.
Thumbs up group picture.
It was just like
It's like Weekend at Bernie's.
It was an 80s TV in the corner with a VHS machine. Like an Atari system.
He's drinking a tab.
Yeah, didn't have any girlfriends, but yeah, tab.
Yeah, so the 13th dynasty, which is old, and the tomb had been plundered at some point in antiquity. I don't know if they know when that was yet. But yeah, you can see the hieroglyphs on the wall, and it is a very, very small tomb. I think they even said that it may have been reused from a previous ruler because these people were so poor compared to the people that made the pyramids.
Could it possibly be viral campaign for the next Stargate movie?
I do not think it is a viral campaign. Maybe a viral campaign for the next Mummy movie.
Okay.
Maybe. Anything else? You should probably
I just wonder that they're still finding them.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Egypt and a lot of dead guys. So
I guess
they've been there for a long time.
But I just think it's amazing that somebody's out there sitting there with like a pickaxe and a little tiny broom. That's what I always think of.
This one looks like
archaeologists.
This looks like it was pretty deep. I think they might have had to use a backhoe. I mean, probably they went slower than that, but it looks like it's at least 10 feet deep under the Egyptian sands. Did you see the thing that shows the fields in New England, the Revolutionary era fields in New England and up and down the East Coast are still visible, like the stone walls are visible on satellite maps. Just from you can tell from the path of the tree growth around them. So it's places that we had agriculture in the pre-industrial revolution days, and then as people moved out of rural areas, the forest grew back up around them. We can still see where the fields were. I thought that was really cool. Leave your mark, and that was we're talking about 3,500 years though versus 150 or 200.
How do you want to leave your mark? A tomb?
A trademark.
Yeah. Will Smith. That's my trademark. I want to make something that's visible from outer space.
Okay.
Did you see when we left Vegas, were you on the left side of the plane or the right side of the plane? Do you remember?
You're talking about the very end of CES.
The end of CES.
So that tells you exactly how much I remember the end of CES.
So I was on the left side of the airplane going west, and looking at the left side of the window, you could see the solar plants where they take the sun's rays and make an Archimedes mirror or whatever that thing's called, blast it onto a tower a couple hundred feet up in the air, and then turn, I think, molten, and then use that to generate electricity. You could see one of those from the plane, and it was like looking at the surface of the sun, the top of that tower. It was unbelievably bright.
That's what your mark. You would like your mark to be.
Yeah, I want to make a death ray that you can see from space. But instead of making it to generate power, I want to be able to bounce that up into mirrors into orbit and fry anything anywhere on the planet at any time. It's
Okay, if you've got space, I'll take the sea.
Okay, Aquaman.
I'll just I'll have
The sea is vast.
I want to genetically come up with some sort of Leviathan creature that I can ride around on. And
just stand on 2 manta rays and put leashes on each of them.
Yeah, he'll be so big that when I get tired of riding around on him, I will actually go inside his mouth and live in his stomach.
So you just described Kon-Tiki.
I don't know what's Kon-Tiki.
Kon-Tiki is who wrote Treasure Island? Swiss Family Robinson or Robinson Crusoe? It's one of those.
Robert Louis Stevenson.
I think it's a Robert Louis Stevenson book. I can't remember.
It's about basically a Pinocchio man.
This reminds me of the other really dumb
Pinocchio
thing.
man.
Yeah, Pinocchio man. He lived in the whale for a little bit, didn't he?
This reminds me a lot of the Whiskey Media panel of experts. Jonah.
Wasn't that part of Pinocchio? Didn't he live in a whale?
Pinocchio did live in a whale.
By the whale.
He gets eaten by the whale for a little bit.
Yeah.
But not Jonah from the Weezer song.
No, Jonah from the Bible gets eaten by a whale too.
Jonah.
My name is Jonah. That Jonah also gets eaten by a whale, doesn't he?
I believe that was Jonas.
It was
Oh,
Jonas.
Jonas.
Yeah.
He had a sweater though.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of Weezer over the holiday with the kid. That was good.
Those first 2 albums, man, can't be beat.
Or
So
Mariner's
third.
Revenge song, December's.
The
They
first
also live in
three.
the whale.
Yeah. I feel like the cultural relevance of a new tomb discovered in Egypt has really decreased over the last 100 years. Because if you look at the 20s when they found Tutankhamun's tomb, that was a huge thing. Like,
There were riches in there because there was money.
I guess
If
there
they
was still a
found
lot of
bitcoins
gold.
in this guy's tomb, that'd be a big deal.
I don't think the ancient Egyptians were mining bitcoins, Norm.
They were mining something.
They were just mining, gold, straight up. No fucking around.
Dave, don't you have bitcoins?
I have no bitcoins. What? No. That stuff scares me.
You don't need drugs anymore.
I think it'll eventually happen. I don't.
Then weren't we all interested in dabbling in bitcoins?
Andy, if any of us had bitcoins, I would have assumed it would have been Andy because he came in real heavy on it. Like,
He's also a Magic the Gathering player, so that totally makes sense.
Kind of like bitcoins.
No, but that's
Right.
Mount Gox, right?
yeah,
You know what
Mount
that's
Gox gathering. It's gathering online exchange or something like that, right?
Magic the Gathering online exchange.
So
It was a pivot. They moved from being the Magic the Gathering online exchange of cards to bitcoins.
yeah.
So a company
Bricklink.
that facilitated the commerce of
Yes.
Magic cards, which completely dictated by Wizards of the Coast printing them. They decided.
So they moved from
Bitcoin
one
was
bullshit currency to another?
Was more
Yes.
stable.
Is that
a
crazy?
stable business to be in.
It's as if the guys that do Bricklink, which is the Lego brick trading site, decided we're going to do cryptocurrency. We're into it, man.
Yeah. Yes.
It's crazy. That is crazy.
I think investing in Lego brick is probably a better idea than
Bitcoin.
Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh,
You can make something
Yeah.
out of it at least.
Exactly.
What can you do with the Bitcoin?
We can make a good combo out of Magic the Gathering. We can make a good deck.
I don't even know how you play Magic the Gathering. All I know is you tap. I never understood that. Tap, tap, tap.
Gotta get your land, man.
I don't know what's going on here, man.
Tangential related.
Yes.
Foreshadowing.
That's true.
But this was a perfect segue.
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain Hearthstone? It's out of beta this week.
Hearthstone.
Or it's in public beta,
It's
sorry.
Blizzard's new, I'm trying to take over an entire genre game.
So they're MOBAing, or is this the Dota thing? Or
no,
is this
it's
something else?
Theirs is basically a Magic the Gathering style game.
Collectible card game.
Yeah, collectible
Digital
card game.
collectible card game.
so you can't even play it with other people in the real world?
Yeah, it's all, for the most part, just competitive card game playing. It's a deck builder game, so it's very similar to Magic. It's probably a little easier because there is no land or any of that kind of stuff. You just have mana that you accumulate per turn. But you have cards, and they're rare cards, and you earn cards by either paying for packs, which you can buy for, I think it's $2.
Now here's a question I have, because Magic originally back in the mid '90s when it was very popular, those whole booster pack model.
Mm-hmm.
You buy, and a lot of satisfaction is opening the foil packs,
Yes.
getting your 10 to 15 cards, however many cards came in the
Yes.
booster pack, throwing away all the crappy ones and finding your one uncommon and maybe one rare. Do you have that same experience with the digital booster pack?
So you'll get a pack, and it's an actual pack. They make you drag the pack into a opening area, and then it outputs 5 cards.
Is there an animation, like a
There's an
flurry
animation.
of cards that
There's
come out?
Do you get gum?
That's all.
there's
That's
no gum. There's no bazooka gum in there. And
40-year-old gum.
There's no gold leaf. There's no Ken Griffey Jr. card in it.
Did your Marvel cards have gum in them?
Nope.
Okay.
I would eat.
You would eat
booster
30-year-old
pack
gum?
It was gross.
If someone sent me booster pack gum, I'd eat
So
it.
crunchy.
I'd chew it. I wouldn't eat it.
So crunchy.
But yeah, you do that, and you're guaranteed out of one that you're going to get at least one rare or something out of it.
Okay.
The cool part that they have in that game, which is kind of smart, is that you earn this currency that you can only get by playing. And then after you get a certain amount of it, you can enter into the arena. The arena is kind of like a blind deck game where you pick one of the classes. They'll give you 1 of 3 classes. You say, okay, I'll play a shaman. And they will then give you an opportunity to pick your 30 cards for your deck. They'll give you 3 cards at a time and say, pick one of these 3. do that 30 times, you get 30 cards.
And these are out of the pool of cards that you own?
No, these are totally random ones in general. You can then use... So everybody's got the same random chance so that you're not playing against somebody with
The better deck who spent more money.
It's like at least you have the same randomness behind it. And then you play in the arena. The arena you get to play in until you've lost 3 times.
Okay.
So the amount of times that you win increases your chance at a better prize.
Okay, so when you get... And the prizes are more cards.
The prizes are more... You'll always get... Even if you lose all 3, you'll always get a new deck.
Okay.
And you'll get some crafting juice or whatever that is.
Can you get like Tauren plushies or anything out of this, or is it just
not that I know of any of that kind of stuff? And to be honest, I've been playing it for a month and a half or something like that. So I've started getting decent at it, but I haven't gotten to the point where I've gotten like huge crazy prize out of it. You just get some rare cards.
So like in a deck, you say it's like a deck builder. Is it like Dominion in that sense?
It's more like Magic.
I don't know.
So in Magic, there are a universe of cards,
Yeah.
just like in Dominion, right? Except there are many more cards. You can't unlike Dominion. If you buy the starter pack, you have all the starter pack cards.
Is there card inflation
in
where like the older
Magic-
cards are less useful than the newer
No,
cards?
the older cards are broken. They break the game and break the balance.
Okay.
But there are X hundred number of cards, and some are very rare. So it's going to be very difficult to accumulate them all to build your decks.
But it's still a Blizzard game, which means that they nerf cards and nerf all kinds of stuff. So it doesn't even matter. They can auto balance the game as you do it.
Does it tie into other Blizzard games, Valve style? Like, can you earn shit playing Diablo 3?
It's Warcraft inspired, so
Okay.
you pick a class, you pick one of the 8 Warcraft classes. All the cards are from that. The thing that makes it interesting versus something like Magic is here's a bunch of cards that you can play where your avatar is yourself. It doesn't matter. In Hearthstone, you pick that class, and that means that you have access to class-specific cards.
In addition to general cards that anyone can use?
Yeah, so
Okay.
your deck is a mix of those two things. So
So-
your strategies would change, depending upon who you're playing.
And do these kind of, like, is it like if you're a shaman, your play style is going to be different than if you're an assassin, a rogue, and if you're a rogue, then you're weaker against somebody than somebody else?
Yeah, and it plays very similar to the stereotypes that Warcraft's already set up. So rogues are really good, like fast attacking early game players, where a mage is more of a build up and a nuke sort of class.
So is there like a raid game with this? Is there a
You just play competitively versus somebody else. You can play
Okay.
against your friends, but most of the time, all you do is hit the big play button. It randomly assigns you to somebody
And you can-
similar to your skill.
you can play for 10-minute sessions.
have you, so it sounds kind of like Netrunner or something like that even.
The reason I play it is because with
10-minute
a
session.
kid,
Yeah, no, I
you can
understand.
sit there and play for 10 minutes and put it down and feel
I know
good about
doctors
yourself.
who play Hearts.
Yeah. It's a good
Storm,
pick up and
whatever
go.
it's called. Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
Their money mechanic thing in it is not in any way crappy. It's just
Like the microtransactions. stuff.
yeah, it's
Okay.
there if you want to use it. But I've just been grinding, playing it for free. It seems like it's a Blizzard polished game. If you like card games, you'll probably like it.
Okay. It's open beta now. That's why we're talking about it. And you're here and you play it and you understand. So, Verizon bought Intel's failed TV project. This is a thing that they talked about at like the last 2 IDFs running, and the idea was that it was an over-the-top set-top box for TV, which means IPTV, TV delivered over the internet, but like not in a Netflixy kind of way where it's everything's on demand, but where you can actually get live streams of ESPN and Disney and CNN and your local channels and that stuff over the internet.
So pick your own cable, basically.
Kind of. I think the thing that I don't know if they ever actually said it, but the thing that the impression I always got was that they were trying to do an a la carte TV service that means you get your local channels, and then if you watch ESPN, you can get that. If you want to get CNN, you don't have to pay for it if you don't want to.
I would pay for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for the 5 channels that I watch, I
Yeah.
would love that.
And if you had Verizon Fiber, then even better.
So I think Verizon is probably more poised to do something with it. The rumored asking price was half $500 million rather. So I don't know how close to fruition that actually was.
That is a lot of money.
Well, in a telecom world, it's not that much. Yeah. Yeah.
What am I doing building websites?
Yeah, you should build over-the-top TV.
I got to think up a clever name for it.
It's all deals. It's all the problem with the over-the-top TV thing is it's all deals.
Quickster.
Yeah, sure.
Oh God. And then finally, Rim Capsule's coming to Steam. Oh, we have more. Rim Capsule's coming to Steam on January 30th. Rim Capsule is one of my favorite iOS games of the last year or two. It's a top-down strategy game with real nice art style. It's a little short. They're
Can you
apparently
spell it?
RYMDKAPSEL.
It's not how you would think it'd be spelled.
Rimmed Capsule. It was made by one dude, and it's like it's kind of Dungeon Keeper and those kinds of games where you build rooms and assign people to rooms, and like you have different tasks you have to complete. It's like $2 or something like that on iOS. I don't know what they're going to sell it for on Steam, but it's out at the end of this month. So
Cool.
it's good. It's worth playing.
I will check it out.
Valve last week had I think this is their first developer conference, Steam Dev Days. They gave everybody who came, it was no press, just developers. And they gave everybody who came Steambox, the Gigabyte bricks, which is an Intel-based, no discrete graphics. Basically, it's the same as the Nuke machine that I have with a bigger hard drive, a little small form factor PC running SteamOS, and one of the prototype gamepads. I think they also announced some changes to the Steam controller, right, Norm?
Yep. No more touchscreen.
I think that's a good move. Was it a touchscreen or just a touchpad?
Touchscreen.
Okay. So the touchpad on that PS4 controller is the weakest part of the whole thing. Because you kind of, it's in a weird place. It's hard to use. It's unnecessary. Is it going to be more buttons? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think they're going to figure out button situation.
Something to do with it. Anything else?
Yes, Michael Abrash's talk is now online.
Oh, really?
44 pages of his presentation.
Jesus.
About virtual reality.
Is there video
very
too?
important. No video.
Oh.
A lot of it was recap from his GDC 2013 presentation about virtual reality and
latency and stuff.
Last year was about latency and judder. This year, everything is put together to talk about this idea of presence in virtual reality and why we shouldn't be using the word immersion. Immersion is different. Immersion just means you're surrounded visually. Presence means your mind thinks you're in a separate place, and all your subconscious reality deciphering abilities are fooling you. And so that's why presence is why you get vertigo in virtual reality.
Okay.
It's why.
Is that a good thing that you get vertigo because of presence, or a bad thing because you get vertigo because of presence?
If the environment is made to simulate like a tall building and you're standing on top of it, then yes, that's a good thing. Then it's successful at relaying that presence.
I don't think I ever want to get vertigo.
The vocabulary of technology boggles my mind.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like what you said totally made sense to me, but man.
Semantics.
Wow. Yeah.
Very, very important little things. And presence is an aggregate to get successful presence. It's an aggregate of all these technologies, including latency, including resolution. He's saying that based on their testing, based on the prototypes that they've made, a 1K by 1K pixel resolution per eye, which is kind of close to 1920 by 1080. If you're splitting 1920 by 1080 into two eyes, that is okay. It is sufficient for presence currently, but ideally it would be 10 times that resolution.
That's a big jump.
That is a big jump.
Hey guys, your GeForce 780 is not going to cut that.
Yep. Nope. And a lot of that will depend on the panel makers. And even though Samsung has, for example, a 5.5-inch panel that's going to do 1440p, 2560 by 1440, that's probably going to go on their Samsung Galaxy S5. That panel may not be good because it might not have a global refresh for the backlight. That's
what is a global refresh for the backlight?
That means all the pixels get refreshed at the same time, as opposed to linearly, line by line, pixel by pixel, which is what leads to the judder problems. Also, you need about 95 hertz refresh rate on your panel, is what he's saying.
So he's saying 60 hertz isn't enough, 120 is overkill?
Well, at minimum 95, and the prototype they've made is 95.
So this is a separate prototype from the Oculus. It's a completely different thing.
Completely just Valve's prototype.
This is the thing that they had multiple things going at once. It sounds like they had an AR thing, and then they also had the VR stuff.
And
going
they're only spending money on this VR stuff right now. So their prototype has positional tracking also, but it's room base. So there was a photo of their room which had QR codes plastered everywhere.
Ooh, you love QR codes.
So the head tracking device, the HMD, will see the QR codes and recognize where it is positionally. He's also saying that for field of view, about 110 degrees is ideal, at least is the minimum, which Oculus does meet right now. But everything coming together, I need to talk about going forward. It's going to need eye tracking. You're going to need surround sound and all that stuff, and maybe some haptic feedback.
How close are we to getting just climbing into a pod and putting a thing on your head and then living your life inside the machine?
Surrogates.
Yeah, surrogates.
2015 is when he thinks consumer VR technology will meet his standards for presence.
Will my skills in VRML from the late 90s help me in any way?
Did you build VRML apps, really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
When did you?
I did one that was
I've never met anybody who built VRML apps
It was like
before.
walking around I built stuff with VRML in it. It was because we were near DC, so you'd build museum things.
Oh, okay.
So they'd be like, walk through our museum.
Okay. Did people pay for that?
Dude, people paid for anything in the 90s on the internet. I was 19 years old, and they
That's
walked
true.
me in. It was like the cool thing to have the youngest person possible that building things. It was like, oh, look, it'll be fine. We've got a 19-year-old.
This
It's like the worst thing in the world.
It's terrible. It's like a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's like our kids are better than their kids.
Just literally, they were like, we have hardcore Dave. There he is. This kid.
Wow. You saw the movie Hackers?
Yeah.
We have a kid that's 3 years younger.
Yeah.
Anything else, Norm, from Dev Days?
And then Joe Ludwig, the other big VR dude at Valve, had a presentation, which is also online, and that's stuff that we talked about last week in terms of getting Steam OS or the Steam Big Picture mode into virtual reality. A lot of the stuff had to do with optics also. In Abrash's talk, he talked about how you need a really good optics system, and he had a diagram that showed many, many lenses working in concert. So that your eyes would see the screen as you see the world, and we're just not there yet.
Well, and in order to do that with a multiple lens system, you got to have eye tracking so it knows where you're trying to focus so it can adjust, right? Or do you have to have really huge lenses so that the sweet spot for the lens is really
You
really
gotta
wide?
have lots of lenses and really
Yeah.
big front elements.
Yeah, we're
That's
away.
exciting.
Yeah, I know. Think about putting a couple of 24 to 70 millimeter zoom lenses on front of your eyeballs, and then the thing that you're gonna have mounted to your head to balance that out. VR stuff's cool though.
It'll get smaller. It'll all be weird.
Google, I don't even know how they rolled this out, but I saw stories about it pop up everywhere at the same time. They have a pair of contact lenses for diabetics to test their insulin levels and blood sugar levels. I'm not sure which one, but it basically all bodily fluids or many bodily fluids are good for testing your insulin versus sugar levels and
Glucose levels.
Glucose levels, right? These happen to work with tears.
Yes, it's something that these researchers at the University of Washington have been doing for years. They were previously affiliated with Microsoft Research, and then now they work for Google. And so they just did a quick blog post about this. Hey, this is something we're working on. It's not augmented reality. It's nothing like that. But they're calling them smart contact lenses. And basically all it is 3 components. You have a small glucose detector that's super, super tiny that, again, works off of tears. And you also have a very, very small microprocessor to analyze those glucose levels and an antenna system. And all of that circuitry is squeezed between 2 biocompatible lenses that I don't think they still work as corrective lenses. Not sure, but then probably not. And it will be a contact lens that people with diabetes can wear and get possibly notification. They also hinted at putting an LED in there as some type of light source, so you get some visual indicator of low glucose levels, because right now people have to stab themselves with their glucose checks every several times a day.
And these are things that kind of already exist, right? Like, I know that they've got the little things you can put in your arm, and then
Yes.
you've got a little beeper guy, right? That will build the graphs for you.
A lot of those things are painful to use if you're tapping into your blood.
And you have to do it multiple times a day.
Yes, you definitely have to do it multiple times a day. O'Malley from Gigome, he wrote a big piece talking about why he thought this was a very very typical of Google being a very impractical idea and a tech solution to, and not a person-driven.
It's not a real world solution for a real world problem.
Well, it is definitely a real world problem. It's just absolutely not a solution that makes a lot of sense because these things are super expensive to develop, and also
a lot of diabetics can't wear contact lenses.
Contact lenses are not recommended for diabetics. There are a lot of studies say that diabetics just shouldn't wear them. It affects their eyes.
I mean, vision problems are something that happens over a long period of time with diabetes, and if you contact lenses can accelerate the decline of vision, which is bad.
And those millions of dollars they're potentially spending on researching this would be better spent on something way more practical and affordable to affect a larger population.
Yeah, I think Ohm is probably right on this one. Last couple of things. Amazon has a crazy patent for Minority Report shipping where they look into the future and go ahead and ship you stuff that you haven't even ordered yet before you order it because they know you're going to order it.
And the fact that people call it Minority Report shipping is exactly the thing that was wrong with the reporting of the story. So the anticipatory shipping, all it means, and they do this already basically, and this is an extension of what they do, is look at what you buy.
Yeah.
And look at your history of what you buy.
What are you going to buy next from Amazon, Norm? What does the machine think you're going to buy next?
Probably.
Is there a lens in your future? You buy toilet paper from Amazon?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Even I don't buy toilet paper from Amazon.
Woodworking safety equipment is
That's
showing
yours?
up. Yeah.
Okay. Goggles or like finger guards?
It's probably it probably thinks I need goggles, but I've already got goggles.
Okay.
So it looks both at your shopping history, the pages you viewed, and also, and websites can do this now. A lot of people just don't know, like where your mouse hovers over and how long you stay on like a certain part of a page. Like if you're scrolling down a news feed and you stop at a certain section, they know.
This is true.
Yeah, they know.
It's
how
true.
Facebook.
You can do it.
Facebook pumps stuff up to the top of your feed when you hover and linger.
We can find out anything you do.
Yep, and they're just going to take that data and then distribute their inventory a little more specifically, and to a point where they'll have items in packages in trucks.
Is Amazon Fresh in San Francisco now?
I think there were photos on Twitter.
I
of
saw a
Amazon
truck.
Fresh trucks.
Yeah, there was a
in
truck
Bay
at the end of our
Area.
street this morning.
So close to it.
I
mean, if it's like if someone has a habit of buying Blu-ray releases the day they come out,
Yeah.
or has bought all the Batman movies right the day they've come out,
That's true.
then having that package in the truck, even though they didn't order it for that day of release, is not a stupid thing to do.
Especially since they own DHL now.
Amazon owns DHL.
Yeah, the On Track
Really?
is DHL,
Wow.
isn't it? I'm like 99% on that. Yes, it's a regional carrier that serves the 8 largest states in the West. It is not DHL. It is something else. Privately held company. Maybe they just have a massive contract with them. Hey, did you guys see that? We didn't talk about this last week, but did you see the UPS meltdown over Christmas?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the big two stories over the holiday break, and I think Mark Andreessen, whatever,
The guy who invented
Yeah.
Netflix?
the guy who invented Netflix.
Mark
No.
Andreessen?
His
Wait.
Andreessen.
Reed Hastings.
That's
the CEO of
He's the
Netflix.
CEO.
I'm sorry, not Netflix.
Andreessen's a Netscape.
Netscape.
guy.
I knew it was
Netscape,
something.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. The bald dude.
I don't know. He wasn't bald the last time I saw him, but yes,
There's
I think
many bald men in tech. He's
Yeah.
one of them.
Looks a little bit like a conehead.
Okay.
it's okay.
Just saying.
It's good. It's good that we devolved from the guy who invented Netflix. I mean,
Apparently, you had
Netscape.
something important to say.
Yes, he did. He talked about how this past holiday was a big transition period for retail, and the two big stories that come out of retail were, one, how little brick and mortar stores made, and two, how big the shipping problems were.
Yeah, UPS over the holiday
correlated.
melted down about between Thanksgiving and Christmas in most urban areas to the point that they were hiring people. Like, I don't think they were going outside Home Depot and hiring those dudes to stand out there and look for jobs, but they had UPS trucks full of packages that they were using as bases to restock the trucks without having to drive them all the way back to the distribution centers.
I'm more amazed
And
that
stuff
this,
was still like 2 weeks late.
I'm amazed this hasn't happened earlier. Like I'm amazed by our infrastructure that
I think this is the first time the threshold was crossed for online stuff versus.
So we do need drones.
No, I think it's inventory management and just this anticipatory stuff will help. I mean, the data is
Well-
all there, and yes, there's an upper limit to efficiency of like traffic infrastructure and delivery of like inventory management in the trucks, but I mean, it's all going to even itself out.
Do your Christmas shopping in September.
Also that, and you know, a lot of people have done pop-up stores in holiday time period. You have a lot of these craft fairs, and people are going to move toward those. It'll all balance itself out. For the Amazon thing, the thing that I could totally see them doing to make their anticipatory shipping more effective and get more money out of you is send you alerts that you know the things that it thinks you want to buy.
Oh God! If it told me this could be at home when I get home,
because it's already on the truck.
so bad.
That's the smart thing. So it's like, yeah, the data says that you have a 60% probability you'll buy the next Blu-ray, the Fast Furious Blu-ray, but there's that 40% you won't. But
So
if it sent you an email, it says it's on the truck with your name on the package.
It's
Torque is
basically
coming out
just
on-
a real good BMG music.
Oh, that was so bad.
Like, remember, but that's what those services used to be. They just send you
the
stuff
free
once
disc,
a
the
month.
disc you got once a month was always garbage. It was always
know, but if they've
fucking
got all
Tori
this
Amos
stuff,
or something. Not that I have anything against Tori Amos, but
They're
it
basically
wasn't what I was
going
looking
to say,
for.
like,
at the
here it
time.
is, it's coming.
It's
Here's
on
your
its way.
Amazon shipment for the
All you
the
gotta
week.
do is click yes, nod your head twice.
But then the thing that will burn them on that is if they get it wrong.
Well, if they get it wrong, all you gotta do is have on track their employees put a new shipping logo, and guess what? Your neighbor's got it.
Well, that still costs though. I mean, here's the thing: they don't put a shipping logo on it until somebody picks it up. They just have a whole big box full of Batman,
Sure.
Dark Knight Rises Blu-rays sitting there ready to go.
It's all the same part of the spectrum.
For new release stuff, it makes a ton of sense, especially because if you think about like video games and movies and music, probably not music anymore because I don't think anybody who's going to be buying stuff on release day is getting CDs. But
I think
for movies and Blu-ray, for movies and games, like it's pretty easy to say, hey, this dude buys Call of Duty every year. We're going to go ahead and have one there ready to go, so
Yeah.
that when he presses the order button at 11 o'clock the night before.
Talk about like screwing over the pre-order system, and also way more cost effective than legitimate same-day shipping options like Google Shopping Express, where it's very expensive to pay people to go to stores, local stores, and buy stuff for you. When the on-track trucks
What
are
do they
already
charge
doing
for
the
that
routes.
Shopping Express
They would do
service?
$5 per item, or
Per item or per store?
$5 per something when you after the 6-month free term ends.
Wow. It's a weird future we live in. You should just buy everything digital. Amazon Fresh is here. I think it's in limited beta right now, which means you have to be special to get it because my Amazon account isn't special enough. Maybe yours will be.
And you know what? Amazon Fresh is the perfect place to have anticipatory shipping. And it's one of those things that you want the fresh food, like, oh, I wish I had some fresh food to make for dinner tonight. And then they know 4 p.m. send you the email. Hey,
some
you want
bananas.
some? You want some avocados for tonight? yeah, I do.
Have you ever done any of those like delivery services? Though,
I did
for food?
Webvan in the old days.
Yeah, I did it. I did like Safeway or something.
I sprained my
a while
ankle.
ago.
Well, we do Safeway here. Safeway is how we get our food here, the delivery service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Joey orders stuff once or twice a month, and they bring Diet Cokes and beer and muffins.
But did you ever like order produce or anything?
So yeah, when I had hurt my ankle and couldn't go to the grocery store, I did produce from Safeway and Webvan, and the Webvan produce was awesome, and the Safeway produce was garbage, and I never ordered produce from Safeway again because they clearly used it as the opportunity to get rid of every bruised piece of fruit that they owned.
Yeah.
And shoveled it. The other thing they do is that makes me crazy about Safeway is they do substitutions. So unless you say don't substitute
Right.
this, and you order something that's really specific, like smoked almonds, if they don't have the smoked almonds that you ordered, you could get a different brand of smoked almonds, which is fine, or you could just get smoked pistachios, which would be the foulest thing you've ever put in your mouth.
That's why he's Mr. AT&T.
Fucking AT&T.
Pistachios are great.
Pistachios.
I like pistachios too.
That song is pretty good. Kraken Gangnam Style, I think, is came out during the Super Bowl last year.
It's coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. It's Sunday a week?
It's a Saturday.
Saturdays and Sundays all blend together now, Norm. You have no idea.
Super Bowl.
Is it 2 weeks from last Sunday, or is it 2 weeks from next Sunday?
It's
2
a
weeks
week from
last
Sunday.
night. It's
Okay.
A week from,
Yes.
this
So
Pro
it's
Bowl is between
week and a half now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Backblaze did an incredible community service. Backblaze is one of the cloud backup services that Wirecutter recommends. I haven't actually used them because I don't use cloud backup for anything, but
It's highly recommended to use cloud backup.
I understand. I just have a safe deposit box that I cycle hard drives in and out of because I like going to the bank.
Okay.
Wait, what? Really?
No.
Yeah, I really do.
No.
No?
Yes.
No.
Really?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It sounds so dumb. I could see you doing.
I mean, it's just for photos. It's for photos and like the 2 documents I have a year that I need to keep.
I still can't tell if this is sarcasm.
I am absolutely not kidding. I do it
What?
twice a year.
No way.
When I go to the safe deposit box,
So somewhere in a bank. No. Not
there's
going to
a
entertain.
bank with
Not
a
gonna
hard
entertain
drive
it.
in
Nope.
it. What? What do you do? Do you not have a safe deposit box?
Absolutely not.
What?
You have a house?
I don't. No.
Where do you put your car titles and stuff like that? What if your house burns down?
Man.
If your house burned down, you have bigger problems.
You're
in
way
your life.
more adult than I am.
Once you own things, and not the bank owning them, but you own them, you should have a safe
Is
deposit
this
box.
it's like one of those fuck the man paranoia things?
No.
Yeah, I bury it in my yard.
Well, what was it? James Brown told Eddie Murphy you should put all your money in your mattress. True story.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you should have
safe
safe.
deposit.
If you have title, if you own your car outright and you have the title
All right,
for it, that title is the car as far as the law is concerned.
I've seen Fast and Furious. How much does it cost per year for the safe deposit box?
It's like $20. It's not expensive. It's just in the local branch of the bank. It's not like it's in. It's not like I have to go through fucking. There's
Do you have
usually
like
not
a
even
gun and a
closed
bunch
door.
of euros in it, like too?
No, it's
Do
gold
you-
blocks.
Did you put the red burn bag?
No, dude, it's not like the fucking movies. You go into the local branch of your bank and you're like, I want a safe deposit box, and then they say, okay, it's going to be this much.
Okay, see
And
now,
they take it from
I'm
your thing.
totally entertaining the idea since we all got
Burn
you and I
bags.
got burn bags.
Yeah.
Adam made copies of from Born Identity. So I do have a burn bag. I know technically the burn bag was not in the safe deposit box, but since we have the burn bags, I kind of want to get a safe deposit box and just put stuff in it.
You should just put the
And
burn bag in
oh,
there.
yeah,
it's one of the nicer things
exactly.
you own.
Put one
Okay,
of the burn
okay.
bag. Put the burn bag in it along with like fake passports and
Yeah.
replica guns and all that stuff.
It'll be like
I think
True
it-
Lies, like
and then-
Bill Pullman's character.
yes,
You have your fake.
yes.
I think
yes, totally right.
I think if you walked into the bank with a fake gun, that might not go well.
They don't know what's in the safe deposit box. You have total
Yeah,
privacy.
isn't that part of the deal?
In my bank,
That's how you put smoke grenades in it, and then it sets off the smoke
Okay.
alarm, and that's how you get in the bank.
so in my, you know how in Born
Nanobots go in
Identity,
there.
in Born Identity, they go and they pull the thing out and they walk into a little room. In my bank, there's just a big room with a table in it and a bunch of safe deposit boxes, and you
Right,
just pull
but
them out,
you-
put it on the
you have-
table,
the room
and there's
is private.
usually some dude standing there.
What?
Yeah, it's not like
He's looking at you.
it's not like he can get into it. I have the key. You guys, this is.
This is. I don't.
How are you supposed to stack it
I'm
full of money?
still-
I don't think
amazed that
he
you
gives
do
a
this.
shit about the
Photos.
the photos.
hard drive. You just
Hard
have a
drive.
hard drive.
Full of photos. I swap it out every few months.
That's crazy.
Maybe twice a year.
That's bananas.
Why is that bananas?
I can't.
What
I don't know. You are 1952 man.
you're responsible for the if you lose the photos of your child, your wife's gonna be super pissed, dude.
My mom.
I think if
pretty
your
much
house
lost
burned
all my
down-
photos. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or
If the bank burns down, I don't know what happens.
or you
I didn't even
just
think about
use
that.
a service like Crash Plan or
But
Backblaze.
it's much more likely that those places are going to go out of business than the mall's gonna the strip mall with my bank is going to burn down. Probably, I don't know. I feel like at least I have recourse if the bank
could,
burns down.
You could put your Blockbuster membership card in it.
Anyway, the Backblaze guys posted their hard drive failure rates. And they didn't like say, well, one brand failed. Like Google always says, well, one brand failed way more than all the others, and they don't tell you which fucking brand it was because they're assholes and don't want to piss off Seagate, as it turns out. So the Backblaze people posted and said, look, here are the drives, and they even got to specific model numbers. Here are the drives that we found to be the most reliable and the least reliable. It seems like 3 terabyte drives so far have been more reliable than 4 terabyte drives.
No, 3 terabyte drives.
Some 3 terabyte drives are fine. The Hitachi drives were the best of all.
The big winner.
And the Hitachi 3 terabyte had like a 0.9 percent failure rate over the 3-year lifespan of those drives to date.
Now, they chose the drives they bought because they're looking for cost effectiveness.
They're looking for cost per gigabyte. The thing that they said is avoid the green drives, although that could be because of their specific their specific use case. The green drives are designed to spin down when you're not using them faster than maybe the OS would typically spin them down. And what the upshot on that is for their application is that the drives would spin down and then spin right back up and then spin down and then spin right back up, which probably increased wear, they said, but didn't have any data to indicate that. But they said Western Digital red, Western Digital blue, Hitachi 3 terabyte drives, and I said gigabyte before, but I meant terabyte. We all know that. Seem to be the winners. It's an interesting story. It's on the site now, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never had a hard drive fail on me.
I've had
Isn't that amazing?
2 Seagate 1.5 terabyte, same model drive, the exact same one that Backblaze had problems with.
Yeah, I had those conk out with. I had those conk out too. I used this as because they were fast. We recommended it at Max PC, so I bought them.
In computing since like 1980 something.
Are you just always upgrading constantly?
No, I've got hard drives in that were in old computers.
Are you one of those guys that takes the hard drive from the old computer and just jams it in the new computer?
I'll clear it first a lot of times, but yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes. I normally, every time I upgrade to a new computer, I will buy a new one.
Yeah.
But I'll have the other one in there and, shuffle stuff around.
So I bought, let's, I think that's it. Unless anybody has anything to add. Let's talk about what we've been testing, because this will roll over nicely. I bought a thing last night that arrived yesterday via Amazon that was completely impossible for them to anticipatory ship to me. But it is a serial ATA and PATA interface to USB, because I've had in my garage for the last probably 4 years a big cardboard box that just when a hard drive moves out of service or I take apart like an old machine and don't want to clear off the hard drives, I've just been chucking them in that box. And I have hard drives that are probably 30 gigabyte hard drives from 10 years ago in there. And I was like, I should probably look and see what's on these before I put them in the landfill. Mm-hmm. So now I have a thing that I can use to plug in those old ass hard drives and see what was on them without having to open up a case and plug in power and all that stuff all the time. And I'm pretty excited about that. I think that should be an interesting archaeological trip into the past.
Yeah, you'll find a new Egyptian ruler. Hopefully one of the richer ones.
You mean Pharaoh Sobekatop?
You had it so good.
Sobek
the first
Hotep.
time I was amazed. I was like,
yeah,
always ends with Hotep.
Yeah. Bubba Hotep was my favorite pharaoh. Yeah, so that's I'll let you know how that goes. My bet is that 30% of those drives don't work at all anymore from garage exposure.
Everyone should buy a large iron safe to put in their garage.
Really?
And so for future, and bury it, and then so when someone in the future finds it, they can have an adventure trying to open it.
You mean like on Reddit?
Just like on Reddit.
Those safe threads are great.
Exactly.
Is there a subreddit for that now?
I'm sure there is.
Hey, I found a safe. How do I open it?
And it can be lots of
you have magic
success, or it could be
you put your Magic the Gathering cards in there.
Huge disappointment
for the future.
What would you put in the safe if you wanted someone 50 years, let's say 60 years from now, to find it and be delighted?
Bottle caps. It's the currency of the future.
I just can I put like a flash intro to a website?
Like a restaurant website?
I just want like a computer, like a laptop, like half opened, and the person's like, I wonder what's on this computer.
So you'd have to include battery, like some battery solution that would last 60 years.
Yeah, I'll use that giant thing that will.
Right. What's the derogation on that giant lithium battery? Like, would a charge
it's not going to last 100 years.
60 years?
I don't think so.
What battery technology would last 60 years?
I don't think any battery technology.
Yeah. Fine, it'll make them
a couple potatoes.
I want them to go through all the trouble, and then it loads up this old, like Macromedia Site of the Day award that I got in 1997. That is like a 2-minute intro to a website that's horrible. It's just a bunch of moving circles.
Are there frames?
Were there frames? What do you mean?
On the website.
Oh, no. It was this is a full experience.
Full flash?
Are there awards these days given to websites that still have those long flash intros.
Oh, we should start that. Best use of Flash.
I bet there'd be a lot of it would be like mega churches.
I mean, all you've got
And
now is like the
restaurants.
Webbies.
Webbies.
But that's what I'm saying. That's all that kind of exists for websites.
We need sarcastic internet awards.
Okay.
That you could maybe make a battery that you could get that dumb Eaton hand crank thing that you have, Norm, and just tell them to plug that in and crank it for 3 days, and then press the power, and they'd get like a minute and a half on the laptop.
I don't think the lithium ion in that would last 60 years that you can charge it.
Oh, that's probably true.
So that's what I would put in. That'd be
Okay.
my legacy.
Norm, what would you put in?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I asked the question. Because I'm taking it seriously.
I'd put in beer, because the hops and the yeast and stuff change over time. Did you ever have any of the beer that guy in Sebastopol made with the ancient yeast?
No.
It was- He found ancient yeast in amber.
I would
bought
want
it.
nothing to do with that.
Seemed like a real bad idea, right?
Oh, it just sounds like you suddenly get a new disease.
It's the start of a
Some
Michael Crichton
old-
novel.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they live. I never had it. I always wanted it, but it's gone now forever.
You still thinking, Norm?
Yeah, I
What are you
don't
putting
know.
in
Yeah,
there?
because you want to delight someone 60 years from now. It's a lot of
Do you want to
responsibility.
delight or horrify?
Delight.
I think I'd go
Delight.
with horrify. It seems easier.
Yeah. Or just confuse. That's why I went with the.
Put a
You
copy
just
of People
totally confused.
magazine.
Sure.
Oh, nothing but Kardashians this week, guys.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are the Kardashians? Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. Time capsules are tough because the thing is, the time capsule is almost always underwhelming. Like you when somebody opens a time capsule that was from
No.
1913, it's going to be
Don't like that.
super disappointing.
Can it just be a screenshot of Google Images for my name? Because let me tell you something. When I was sitting there for my time off, and I was like, I could go get a gig, and then I just thought of that. Somebody putting in my name into Google would never happen.
Images
Nobody
for
would ever
Dave
hire
Snider, hardcore Dave,
There's
child molester Dave.
yeah, there's
Dave
me
at a wedding.
without a shirt.
Here's
I it's open
Yeah.
instinctively open incognito mode.
Yeah,
to Google
exactly.
the search
Don't worry,
my
it's
name.
still the same.
There's a lot of you without shirts on.
I
and there's-
know. That's what all our hooligans.
You had some improbable facial hair for a while.
Oh yeah.
There's a picture of you with a baby. That seems pretty good.
Yeah,
It's a picture of Alex
those are
Navarro.
fine. There's me with an umbrella, just no shirt on and an
I
umbrella.
don't even see the umbrella. I just see the no shirt
Yeah.
on bit. It says, did you want Dave Strider?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would want. This would confuse. This would explain my entire life.
This one, there's a Dave Snider realtor in Little Rock, it looks like.
There's also some musician man, and there's a weatherman. I love that I beat out the weatherman.
Nice. Local weather doesn't pull what it used to.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on unless Norm has something to say that he's going to put in the safe. Because I've been
No.
testing SteamOS beta.
How is it?
It's just like Steam's big picture mode, but it runs on a machine all by itself. It was a little bit tricky to get set up. If you didn't know a little bit about Linux, it would be pretty hard, assuming you're not on something that just works out of the box. It seems like the out-of-the-box configuration is a Z87 chipset, Intel Z87 chipset with any of the CPUs that'll fit in there and an NVIDIA graphics card. And then that just kind of works. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to do it on Intel integrated or AMD chipsets or with AMD, like an APU or an AMD discrete graphics card, there's a little bit more stuff you have to do. And getting the sound to work on the Intel machine was really hard until it just suddenly started working. Like I did one of those things, you know how you do in Linux stuff where you go and you open up a bunch of text files and you make a bunch of changes and then you're like, I should probably reboot, and then suddenly shit works. Mm-hmm. So I did that and I have no idea what I changed, but it works now. Sound works now. Yeah, so that's good. But
So easy.
yeah, piece of cake. 8.5. You plug in an Xbox controller, and the X input is already installed, so that stuff just works. Mm-hmm. So I'm testing it on one of those Intel Nuke machines, which I think stands for Next Unit of Computing. It's basically a little smaller than, it's like an Apple TV sized box that you put an SSD and a Wi-Fi card and some memory in, like laptop memory. And then that's a computer. Like it's everything else you need is there. It has a couple HDMI ports, Ethernet, and like 2 or 3 USB ports. And it works, like indie stuff works shockingly well on that. I obviously Like Assassin's Creed 4 isn't available for Linux.
And you said you were running like Meat Boy and
Yeah, so it's so far it's been like it seems there's like 350 some games that are available for Linux on Steam right now. So it's mostly stuff. It seems like that was on Humble Bundles because a lot of that Humble Bundle stuff there's like Linux, Mac, and Windows versions. So stuff I've played has been like Bastion, Meat Boy. Thomas Was Alone didn't work. Super Hexagon worked. You know, the indie games from the last 5 years. Braid is in there. I haven't tried that yet, I don't think. But I actually installed it on a 60 gigabyte SSD, one of those little mSATA ones, the ones that you plug in on the little card, rather than a real hard drive, because I wanted something that I could mount on a Visa mount on the back of my TV. So just hang it off the back of the TV, plug it into HDMI, and then use like a wireless Xbox dongle to use controllers with it, and hopefully use it with the streaming, the streaming from my PC to that box rather than running an HDMI cable through the wall, which is what I do right now. But the streaming stuff is not enabled yet. So that's SteamOS right now so far. We're going to do a video about it next week. Norm has some stuff cooking on his front too.
Real games.
Dude, there's no real games for Linux. I know you think that, but you're going to be really sad.
It can dual boot.
just install Wine,
You
man.
could dual boot. I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Have you ever used Wine to play games?
Man.
Did you ever use Linux? You seem like you might have Linux
I
history.
did. I dabbled for a little bit, but I've been more than comfortable with OS X for the most part.
They just added dual boot support like yesterday, so you should theoretically be able to EFI dual boot without wiping out your Windows install. STEM, you wrote down STEM here. Can we? I don't think we can talk about that.
We can
next
absolutely
week.
talk about STEM. We just can't talk about software part.
Okay.
Dave, you ever play with the Razer Hydra?
No.
Do you remember the Razer Hydra was a? It kind of looked like a Wii Waggle controller, but instead of using accelerometers and gyroscopes, it had a magnetic sensor, and then you had this big orb that generated a magnetic field around you. And as long as the sensors were inside that orb, you had incredibly precise movement, but it never really worked very well.
Okay. Incredibly precise, but not.
That was their pitch, but
Okay.
in reality, it just kind of didn't work very well.
All right.
It didn't work because there's a lot of interference problems and the limited range of the base station.
And the software was kind of janky too, but yeah. Okay.
So the people who made that technology were licensed to Razer, launched Kickstarter in September to do their own hardware, which they will also continue to license, called STEM, and it is
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Sure, and it's a positional tracking system hardware to be made for games and productivity, and we got to use it yesterday. The latest version of the prototype, and they had these. The Razer kind of looked like a Wiimote, the Wii Nunchuck, in terms of like what you were gripping, but the stems looks more like almost like a.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah. You know in Spider-Man the Shocker,
The
not Jamie Fox.
Yeah. I thought you were talking
Like when
about
you hold
how
up two
shot.
fingers
Yeah.
and then you have like
yeah.
one finger
Like
down
in
and then the pinky's up.
Spider-Man,
Okay.
the villain, the Shocker, has these
All right.
shockwave like weapons like that.
It
Like a
looked
staple
like
gun. Like a staple gun.
Yeah, it looked like a harmonica case. It's about the same size as like a small harmonica
that I
case.
can get behind. There
Yeah.
we go. All right.
That's like I was like, oh yeah. All right. So they have those sensors are universal, and they plug them into a bunch of different things, kind of like a Wiimote. So we got to try that out.
How is it
yesterday.
positional tracking?
It was okay, and as soon as you got outside of the range of the magnetic sphere generating thing, it kind of got bad. It got real jittery, and they said the version of the software they were running didn't have motion smoothing on. So you know how when you use when you use a mouse and you have interpolation off so that it doesn't smooth out the sensor jitter, it felt a lot like that, but in a 3D environment, it was much more noticeable. I'm not like I was pretty unimpressed with the Hydra. This is second generation or maybe even third generation technology. It seems like so hopefully it'll be better when they actually ship it later this year. I think they're shipping in June or July, they said.
July.
But yeah, I wasn't super blown away by it. It seemed potentially neat, but it seems like the area that the sphere that you can work in needs to be a lot bigger, or you have to put that thing that makes the sphere really close to you.
You want to be able to do a roundhouse kick.
No, I don't ever want to. That's a bad idea.
But that's what they're pitching.
Yeah.
They're pitching like this base station that generates the magnetic field. It's wireless, so it just needs power. So you can move it to center of the room in front of you. You can be standing in front of it, and if it has this 8-foot radius, theoretically it should be able to track, with you standing relatively close to it. And because it works off these modules that have also miniature, coils that track your position, these modules could be wrapped, taped to your feet or taped to your legs, taped to your elbows.
They seemed a little bit big for that.
That they're trying to. The whole idea is having these modules put on bracelets and put on ways to tether them to your feet somehow and your limbs, and so with some calibration, and you're imagining you're wearing also some HMD, so you're in the Oculus, you're in a virtual environment, you have presence,
you're on the treadmill,
and
the Omni,
possibly you're on the treadmill, so you could be walking, and the Omni uses capacitive touch for its motion tracking for the feet.
Well, they actually did a demo at PAX last year where the Omni used the Sixth Sense thing too.
And then the Sixth Sense would be on your arms, and you'd calibrate so it would know that the two stem modules on your hands are exactly the same distance from your head as where the Oculus is, so there's relationship. And then you could see your hands in the virtual world and be Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man.
2.
Ooh,
Beyond
no.
cyberspace.
Wow, really?
Lawnmower Man just ended with all the phones ringing.
Every phone on Earth
that's
rang at once.
That's how you know that's an old movie.
You can do that with Skype.
Yeah.
Make call 20 people at once, make all the phones ring. Really freaks people out. I'm interested to see what they do, but I'm glad I didn't spend money on that Kickstarter. Like for all of the stuff that you see from even that treadmill thing, which seems kind of ridiculous.
Omni.
The Omni, yeah. But like that, at least when you see them using that on a trade show floor or something, it seems to work pretty well.
Oh no! Have you seen the Omni being used?
Oh yeah, I saw it at PAX.
Oh my god, it looks so stupid.
The dude I'm not saying it didn't look stupid, but I'm saying it actually looked like it looked like a thing that you could maybe see yourself using, as long as you're in a room that nobody else can see you. And there's not going to be any pictures.
Number one concern from the Omni is, can you use it by yourself? Do you need assistance?
Can you accidentally asphyxiate yourself getting into that thing?
I don't want to have to call someone to help me set it up.
Oh yeah.
To turn it on and watch and monitor.
Make sure I don't actually slip and die. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what this thing looks like when they actually ship it. The thing that worries me is that we're going to see, because of the kind of buzz that Oculus got early on, and the fact that everybody's actually excited about VR again, everybody else is going to jump on that bandwagon and roll out a bunch of crap that's not very good and kill the VR renaissance before it has a chance to even start.
I just wonder if, at a certain point, people will skip, some tech guys will figure out a way, and I'm sure it's much longer off, but they'll skip the mimicking physical reality and just go directly to your brain.
Like just put the matrix spike straight in the back of your skull.
And you just feel it. You just see it.
Yeah.
And here's the saddest thing. That's going to happen, but it's only going to work on newborns. You have to have that installed when you're born. So
would you do that to your kid? I wouldn't do that to my kid.
No. Well, maybe 2 generations down, but we're all going to be a generation where we're not compatible. We'll all be like Tank and
fucking Tank and Dozer
from the Matrix, where we can't plug in. Yeah. So you got to run operations for the people who are in their virtual reality space, and we're just like, I'm still. That's the sad part.
I've been playing couch games. Have you played Nidhogg or Samurai Gun or any of that business?
I played a decent amount of Samurai Gun, and I was telling you this the other day. I feel I am too old to be playing Samurai Gun with younger people.
I brought a controller dongle so we can see today.
Oh, man.
We can face off olds versus youngs.
Dude, those young cats.
You think they're just faster than us?
Then I started playing. Do you use a strategy of just kind of laying on the floor? Do you know that you can do
Samurai
that?
Gun?
Yeah.
You get down low?
If you press down,
Yeah.
you mimic that you're dead.
Really?
Yes. And so then I just started doing that because I was getting frustrated. And
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I could just have some weird strategy.
So you camped, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, you
Did
can.
you change to like the bone skin
Well,
and hide in the
basically,
shadows?
because I've died so many times, there's tons of my bodies around.
Yeah.
That then it's harder for them to track.
You're saying dying all those times is
Yeah.
a strategy. Couch gaming stuff. Gene and I played Nidhogg last night, and it is interesting to watch other people learn those kinds of games because they're really fast. There's not a lot of complexity in like the mechanics. So my wife, who doesn't like fighting games because you have to learn all the combos and blocks and watch for frames and all that stuff, is super into this because it's literally like just don't run into the sword and then stab the other person first, and kind of you end up with a kind of interesting, fun, deep, more complex but versus gaming experience. So yeah. Norm, you have her on the list.
We didn't talk about it last week. So.
Dave, have you seen her?
I've not seen her, and I really want to see her. Oh, no. That's a big sigh. That's a big Norm sigh.
No,
no,
the size I want to talk about it because I
Oh.
loved it so much.
Oh, has he seen it?
Will hasn't seen it yet either.
We could just walk away. You
No,
could just talk
that's
to...
all right.
You just do
I'll
a
zoom in.
monologue.
No.
Do it at the end.
Why don't you react the movie? Come on. Well, I'll be the robot.
You'll be
That'd be amazing.
You'll be
Norm's Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson.
Johansson.
Yeah.
Dave's.
No. He's the robot. He's Scarlett
Yeah.
Johansson.
I think. Okay.
Scarlett Johansson is the robot.
I think we should redub the movie with your voice instead of Scarlett Johansson's.
People would love it.
Right. That's premium content
I'll
right there.
carry an umbrella and I'll have a new photo on that Google image. That'd be great.
Do you want to talk about her? Do you
No,
want
no.
Should we do a spoiler cast with Adam? He's seen it, right?
He has not seen it yet.
Oh, he hasn't seen it yet.
No.
We'll do a spoiler cast. I think we can make that happen.
Okay.
Anything else, Dave? Anything you're testing these days? You want to talk about?
No, I'm just building. I'm building my thing.
Making
in the
internets?
corner. Yeah. I'm crazy. We're doing. I don't know. It's kind of interesting in a tech way. We're building something that doesn't have traditional databases.
So you're building a website without databases?
Some-
That sounds impossible.
Some of the web world has moved to trying not to have storage systems that are like physically on the or physically in the network that is delivering them. And so you're delivering it through the client. So people are trying to build websites that are, they call them back-endless.
Okay.
It basically means that you have a single static file that's like a index.html file. Like I could give you just a HTML file and it would run like a dynamic website.
So it's like movable type.
No.
So it's like WordPress.
No, it's not even just like it's crazy.
I don't understand.
I'm
confused.
to
and
be
scared.
honest, I don't even understand it completely either. It is kind of scaring me.
Is this something that the machines are building? So like, are the machines building websites for other machines? Is this Web 3.0?
It's I don't. It's all
this
the
the
same.
semantic web?
Everything is new, is old again, and all that kind of fun stuff.
You know, all that Outbrain nonsense. It's on the bottom of every web page on the internet now. That's just web rings all over again.
Oh, the suggested links.
Hey, you might like this story about boobs.
Oh,
That's what it always boils down to.
I call it.
It's boobs are dying.
It's web sugar.
Yeah, it is web
yeah,
sugar.
it's totally web sugar. That's all that stuff is.
Hey, join our web ring.
There's tons of them.
Yeah. Norm, anything else you've been testing? You're good?
I'm good.
Let's take a couple questions and call it a show.
Emails?
Well, but we do the other one.
Email.
'Cause it's, we don't do emails. We do
Emails?
No.
Questions?
Boom.
If you have a question for This Is Only Test, the email address is podcast@tested.com. Please keep your questions short. We like audio questions that are under 45 seconds and don't sound as if they are recorded from the backseat of an F-18 where you're screaming for mercy in between the question that you're asking, or just send us written questions if you would rather. Our first question comes from Chris. I have a question about live CDs. Do you guys recommend any particular type of live Linux CD? I've recently run into a few situations where a bootable temporary OS was needed, but I'm having trouble finding the ideal solution. Also, Norm, why no love for the Kusu DeLorean? The Ubuntu Live CD is pretty good for fixing boot partition problems and stuff like that.
All right. I think the Kusu DeLorean was too small and not as detailed as I would like it to be, nor how I envisioned the DeLorean in my head.
It didn't
And I like
adequately capture the DeLorean-ness of the DeLorean.
No, absolutely not. Yes, it had the gull wing doors, but I would rather have it was composed of maybe 800 pieces and had more detail and was bigger scale as opposed to being the small minifig scale. Also, I don't like the Simpsons.
You didn't ask
Lego.
about the Simpsons. I thought that Simpsons Lego. I think that looks good. I'm getting that. We're going to build it on the video on the internet. So you don't have to participate if you don't want to. It'll just be me in a room all by myself building Lego. Have you done any live CD stuff? They're good for fixing broken Windows machines.
I haven't had too much trouble.
You don't use too many Windows machines that break.
Mine pretty much just runs video games nonstop.
Did you play SimCity?
I played it for about 5 minutes and then saw that I had forgotten that in between the time of the last game and this one that they had that weird Simish language stuff. And as soon as I heard that, I immediately closed it down. Because really,
Arbitrary, but I like it.
I paid $50. I waited till like all
Wow.
the problems were done with it. And then I was like, I love SimCity. I'm going to go play it. And I heard that Simish language and it was
Simlish.
done.
We have a friend who made an album for them in Simlish for one of the Sims expansions. Yeah.
Reticulating spines into it for you?
What? Couldn't. Oh, heard the Simish down.
Wow, the Kusu Curiosity rovers have gotten crazy expensive.
It's $30
It's $98
on.
Amazon. Only one left in stock.
Well,
Oh, you're having to get them from Japan. That's why.
Good thing it's previewed. It's already at your door, Will.
Good news. No, they know me better than that. The next question comes from Eric, who wants to know, hey, I read about Google wanting to make all sorts of robots, and Amazon is starting up their drone fleet in the coming years, so a serious question hit me. Will we get to the point in X number of years in which robots will be doing most of the jobs that we do now? Soon after that, there will be robots deployed in areas designed to fix other robots, etc. Politically, how do we handle billions of people without jobs? Does the world move to a socialist union and hope it works out? I'm not some dude who's afraid of the future, but I feel it is an eventuality that isn't being discussed by anyone, especially those in the government that refuse to believe technology is where it is at now, let alone where the future may bring. Sorry for the long question. Keep up the great work.
so
He thinks the robots are going to put us all out of work.
it's not going to happen.
They're taking our jobs.
It has what happened before, for example, with the Industrial Revolution, is before then, manual labor did a ton of most everything, and once we got machines to do things, the people who originally did those tasks found other jobs in different tasks, such as
Fixing the machines.
Building
fixing machines and building web pages
yeah.
and blogging.
Yeah.
And the bigger issue is that with robots taking over a lot of the what we previously thought was skilled labor, and robots will eventually take, and yes, in X number of years, if you scale it to hundreds of years, if we're still alive as a civilization, robots will take over any job that we think that only humans can do, is a distribution of wealth. And
You
whether
mean robots can handle the distribution? So I can have like a robot that's a robot mugger?
no. So it is whether the people making the robots, control the robots, are taking all the money that otherwise would have been allocated to people doing those jobs.
Well, I would
manually.
assume if the robots are property, I would assume that the person who owns the robots gets
So that's
the
the
robot
bigger
dough.
I think there will be new jobs created, and people will always find things to do, but the distribution of wealth will get skewed even more so, and that is the bigger thing to be worried about.
What was the Ready Player One, where the robots do most everything, and then the people just sit around in VR goggles and play asteroids all day?
I don't know. It's very funny, though, because I just have been thinking of Planet of the Apes in my head. And I'm wondering why there's not a... Because it's very similar
What if
story.
the apes are robots?
Yeah, or you just have an ape and robot society. Like, what if they coexisted?
The apes are all cool with the robots, and the robots are all
Well, the
cool with
robots
the apes?
don't have to be sentient.
I want, like, a balance, checks and balances in the system. Like, the apes can keep the robots in check. That's the way that I would solve this problem.
For my 100 years in the future box, I'd put some... Actually, it's not going to work. I would print a copy of Futurama out on film, the whole series, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reels.
It's a big save.
It's a big safe. And then I would put that in there, and I'd write History of the World 1919 to 1931. No audio. So it's just visual representation. They think we're all cartoons 100 years from now. It's after the fall. I think Norm's right about the robot thing.
Yes, I also agree.
Though. Yeah.
You guys watch Cloud Atlas?
No, I read the book though.
I just watched Cloud Atlas.
How was that movie?
That's another side. Look at these sides.
That's the bad side.
Yeah.
That was the bad side.
Yeah. Is it racist or just bad?
No, it wasn't racist. The people, the using the same actors play different races was totally fine.
Okay.
Make wasn't fantastic, but it was totally fine. It was interesting exercise in adaptation, not in the same way that the movie adaptation was.
I mean, there was a reason that movie was on the hey, this is a movie, a book that you can't make into a movie list for a long time.
Turns out they were right.
Yeah. I watched Fast 5 the other day for the first time, finally.
But you haven't watched Fast 6.
No, that's next. But that rock, as we were sitting there watching
was
that movie.
there more CG or less CG in that
Oh,
movie?
that was way more fucking
Yeah.
CG. I think 4. But here's the thing. The bits that didn't have CG, like the train thing at the beginning, there's terrible CG in there, but there's also some really great stunt driving that is absolutely real.
There's great stunt driving in all those
Right.
movies.
The moment as we were sitting there watching the movie, as The Rock was getting ready to get off the airplane, I said, and this is the moment that The Rock shows up, and Gina's head exploded because she didn't know he was in the movie. It's really, really a good moment.
Glistening rock throughout the entire movie.
He is like full on like jaw out rock ass rock.
I had a long bet that I thought that he was going to win an Oscar one day.
I bet he'll win an Oscar one day.
I think he has it in him to be a dramatic actor.
He could totally loop around, especially like old The Rock, like 55-year-old The Rock.
Yeah.
He could have a Bruce Willis turn.
Yeah.
I think it was the opposite for Bruce Willis.
You think Bruce Willis
Way
had
more talented earlier in his
Younger,
career. Younger Bruce Willis.
moonlighting Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis has had, G.I. Joe 2. He had pretty good turn in that. Tears of the Sun,
Yeah,
pretty
like
good.
Unbreakable and all that
Hero
kind
Son
of
was
stuff.
like 12 years old.
Well, I'm not
Unbreakable's pretty
saying
old too.
he's not a young dude. Unbreakable is 15 years
old.
old.
Looper.
Looper was okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's Bruce Willis. He's got good and bad stuff.
He works on the Affleck theory, right, where he does a good bad movie and a bad movie, except for he's only doing bad movies these days. So I guess that'll do it for us this week. If you have a question, podcast@tested.com. Send your emails. Keep them short. Make them audible. And we will be back next week with another edition of the show. Dave Snider, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me. Man, I didn't know. Go to Webhook. You want to sign up? Try it out.
Oh, do you like stuff people can try out now?
Well, they can't try it out.
Oh, okay.
They can sign up.
Can they find you on
They
Twitter?
can sign up. They can. That's where they can find me. I guess. Enemy Kite.
Oh, I thought it was Hardcore Dave.
No.
That's somebody
Really?
else. I'm fucking with you.
Wow. I think there is a hardcoredave.com. I take no credit for it.
No.
I'm going
Oh,
to the-
no. No.
I think there is.
I really hope it's not.
I'm going there. Oh, yep. It is exactly what you... Harpoon to the rescue. I think it just pulls quotes.
That's all it does.
It's only one quote.
It's
Oh,
super
I can make you
stupid.
say whatever I want.
Oh,
I-
it's not a porn site.
No.
No.
Oh, thank
No.
God.
No.
This was by Alistair Cat, Vager, Mr. Chief, and Dave Snider,
Some giant bomb.
who was hardcore.
Yep. Giant bomb cats.
Norman Chan, what's coming up on the site?
Let me look at my calendar. We got a video with Adam. We have more PC building stories.
Yep.
We have some cool NASA stuff. We got more Zoidberg project.
Lloyd's co-op board game thing went up today.
We have board game stuff. And we
Still Entitled's
have-
back.
Yep. Cool stuff.
Good stuff. Okay, we'll be back next week with another edition of the show. Norm, are you going to talk to the camera about her after this KJN
I'm
outro?
gonna
Yeah,
wait till
do it.
everyone's seen it.
You should do it.
I'm
We'll
gonna
just
wait
zoom it
till
in.
everyone's- I'm gonna wait till people have seen it.
Okay. This week's outro comes to you from KJN. If you would like to submit an outro for This Is Only a Test, Google raw outro song file and follow the instructions in that thread on the forums. See you guys next week. Hi there, I didn't see you. Oh shit, I'm getting a speeding ticket. I don't have any idea what that one's from. I think the oh shit, I'm getting
Oh.
a speeding ticket.
That was when you were rented a car or something.
Was it when you drove the smart car?
With the. I remember you were on a highway. I remember this video.
Were we driving with the Google glasses on? I don't think we ever were able to make that video because we couldn't capture the phone to see what was on the glass at the same time we were driving.
You were trying out some car. Maybe it was the smart car.
The smart car is the only car we've driven in the last. Because you did the Tesla, but I was out.
Talk about speeding tickets, though. I have no recollection.
You wanted to see how fast it could go.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
And then it was, yeah.
You should never go 88 miles an hour in a smart
just
car.
shaking.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
The time travel to the end of your life.
Yeah, it was. I saw my life flash before my eyes.
There you go.
Okay, bye.
See ya.